Every single morning, billions of people perform a ritual that they think is waking up their brain. You pour your coffee, you feel that caffeine hit, and you assume your mind is ready for the day. But what if I told you that while your body feels energetic, your brain is actually starving for the raw materials it needs to stay young? What if that cup of coffee is a missed opportunity to rebuild your neural pathways? Today, we are uncovering a shocking breakthrough in neuroscience's simple, natural powder that doesn't just mask your fatigue, but actually crosses the blood-brain barrier to trigger nerve regeneration. If you've been struggling with brain fog, forgotten names, or the frustrating feeling that your mind isn't as sharp as it used to be, this discovery will change the way you look at your morning mug forever. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Kenji Sato. Welcome back to the Senior Wellness Center, where our singular mission is to help you maintain cognitive vitality and physical independence well into your golden years. Throughout my career, I've seen thousands of patients who fear one thing more than anything else: the loss of their memories and their mental clarity. We often accept this decline as an inevitable part of aging, but modern science is proving that narrative wrong. Your brain is far more resilient and plastic than we ever believed possible, even in your 60s, 70s, and 80s. To unlock that resilience, you have to provide the specific biochemical triggers that allow neurons to repair and reconnect. I've dedicated my life to studying how certain natural compounds interact with our biology to slow the clock. At the Senior Wellness Center, we don't believe in just adding years to your life, but adding life to your years. That starts with a brain that can remember the faces of your grandchildren, the details of your favorite stories, and the focus to keep learning. This isn't about hype, it's about neurobiology. We are talking about long-term structural support for your most precious asset, your mind. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly how this specific brain fuel works at a cellular level, why most people are doing coffee all wrong, and how you can reclaim the mental sharpness you thought was gone for good. This isn't a temporary energy boost, it's a fundamental upgrade. Let's dive into the science of why this one powder is causing such a stir in the medical community. Before we reveal the compound, we need to understand the enemy. Your brain is like a high-performance engine, but as we age, the maintenance crew starts to retire. We start losing the proteins that keep our neurons communicating efficiently. This leads to that dreaded mental RAM full feeling where thoughts just seem to disappear. But the solution is simpler than you think, and it's already in your kitchen. To truly understand why your morning coffee needs a serious upgrade, we have to look at what's actually happening inside your skull right now. Think of your brain like a high-end computer. In your 20s, you had a massive amount of mental RAM. You could open 20 tabs at once. Work, family, hobbies, and everything ran smoothly. But once we cross that threshold of age 40, the hardware starts to change. Research shows that brain volume begins to decrease by about 5% per decade after age 40. This isn't just about losing space. It's about losing connectivity. The white matter, which acts like the high-speed fiber optic cables connecting different parts of your mind, starts to fray. This is why you walk into a room and suddenly have no idea why you're there. The signal simply got lost in the noise. Your mental RAM is literally shrinking. When you try to remember a name or a specific word that's on the tip of your tongue, your brain is scanning through outdated, dusty folders, but the processing speed isn't there anymore. It's not that the information is gone. It's that the path to find it has become overgrown with weeds. In the medical community, we often refer to this as cognitive friction. But what causes these weeds to grow in the first place? The primary culprit is chronic low-grade inflammation, often called inflammaging. When your brain is inflamed, your neurons can't fire signals correctly. It's like trying to run a marathon through a pool of thick molasses. This inflammation is fueled by stress, poor sleep, and a lack of key neuronutrients that our modern diet lacks. Furthermore, there is the issue of the blood-brain barrier. This is your brain's elite security detail, designed to keep toxins out. The problem is, as we get older, this barrier becomes less selective. It starts allowing metabolic junk to enter while simultaneously becoming more stubborn about letting the good nutrients in. This bottleneck is exactly why you feel that heavy, clouded sensation. We call it brain fog, but it's actually a distress signal. It's your mitochondria, the power plants of your brain cells, screaming for help. When you just drink regular coffee, you're essentially whipping a tired horse. You get a temporary gallop, but the horse is still exhausted. To fix the fog, we don't need more stimulation. We need more regeneration and deep structural support for those cells. This is the precise moment where most people give up and accept senior moments as their new reality. But I'm here to tell you that you don't have to accept a slowing processor. We can clear the molasses, we can repair the fiber optic cables, and we can restore that mental RAM. It all starts with understanding a single protein. That acts as the master key to your brain's internal repair shop. So, what is this master key to cognitive restoration? It is a strange-looking, white, shaggy mushroom called Hericium arenacus, more commonly known as lion's mane. For centuries, Buddhist monks used this mushroom in a tea to sharpen their focus during long hours of meditation. They called it nerves of steel and a memory of a lion. But while the ancients knew it worked through intuition, modern neuroscience has finally discovered the why behind the legend. Inside this mushroom are two very specific families of compounds that you won't find anywhere else in nature: hericenones and aranacines. These are just vitamins. They are bioactive molecules. Most supplements fail to help the brain because they are too large to pass through the blood-brain barrier, the elite security gate I mentioned earlier. But hericenones and aranacines are unique because they are small enough to slip right through that barrier. Once they cross that barrier, they do something miraculous. They stimulate the synthesized production of nerve growth factor, or NGF. Think of NGF as high-potency fertilizer for your neurons. Imagine a garden that hasn't been watered in years. The plants are wilting, and the soil is cracked. When you introduce NGF, it's like a sudden rainstorm. Your neurons begin to sprout new branches, called dendrites, allowing them to reconnect with neighboring cells. But the benefits go even deeper than just growth. Your brain's wiring is protected by something called the myelin sheath. This is a fatty insulation that wraps around your nerves, ensuring that electrical signals travel at lightning speed. As we age, or due to chronic inflammation, this insulation thins out, leading to short circuits in your memory. Research has shown that lion's mane actually promotes the repair and regeneration of this myelin, essentially rewiring your brain for speed. This isn't just laboratory theory. It has been proven in humans. In a landmark double-blind, placebo-controlled study in Japan, researchers worked with older adults diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment. For 16 weeks, half the group took lion's mane, while the other half took a placebo. The results were staggering. The lion's mane group showed significantly increased scores on cognitive function scales. Their memory improved, and their mental RAM started to expand. Even more fascinating was what happened when the study ended. When the participants stopped taking the mushroom powder, their cognitive scores began to decline again. This tells us two things. First, that lion's mane has a profound measurable effect on the human brain. And second, that consistency is the absolute key to maintaining these neurological gains. It is not a one-time fix. It is a long-term strategy of neuroprotection and maintenance. By adding this to your coffee, you are doing more than just waking up. You are initiating a daily repair protocol. You are bathing your brain cells in the very proteins they use to heal. This is why many people report that after just a few weeks of use, that heavy feeling in their head starts to lift. The fog clears not because of the caffeine, but because the biological infrastructure of your thoughts is being rebuilt from the foundation up. However, as a physician, I have to give you a serious warning. The explosion in popularity of lion's mane has led to a market flooded with low-quality, ineffective products. If you use the wrong kind, you are simply wasting your money and missing out on the brain-building benefits. In a moment, I'm going to show you exactly how to spot the fakes and how to prepare the perfect neuroprotective brew every single morning. Now, here is where most people go wrong. Because lion's mane has become so popular, the supplement industry which is often called the Wild West, has been flooded with cheap, ineffective products. If you walk into a generic health store and grab the first bottle you see, there is a high probability that you are not buying the medicine I've been describing. You are likely buying expensive, ground-up rice or oats. To understand this, you need to know the anatomy of a mushroom. A mushroom has two main parts: the fruiting body, which is the actual shaggy mushroom you see above ground, and the mycelium, which is the root system that grows underground. Scientific studies that show brain-repairing benefits almost exclusively use the fruiting body. That is where the highest concentration of those precious hericenones is found. However, the fruiting body is expensive and slow to grow. To save money, many massive supplement companies use a shortcut. They take a pile of cooked brown rice or oats, inject it with a little bit of mycelium, and let it grow for a few days. They then grind the whole thing rice and all into a powder. They call it lion's mane, but in reality, it is mostly starch with a tiny fraction of active ingredients. When you look at the back of a label, you need to be a detective. If you see terms like myceliated brown rice, fermented grain, or mycelium on grain, put it back on the shelf. You are essentially paying $20 or $30 for a bag of rice flour. This is why many people try lion's mane and say they don't feel anything. It's not that the mushroom doesn't work. It's that they aren't actually taking the mushroom. For the results we've discussed, the repair of the myelin sheath and the stimulation of NGF, you must use a dual extract fruiting body powder. Dual extract means they used both hot water and alcohol to pull out every single medicinal compound. This is the only way to ensure those brain-building molecules are actually bioavailable and ready for your body to absorb. Anything less is just a waste of your time. Now, finding a high-quality extract that actually contains the medicine can be tricky with so many fillers on the market today. I know how overwhelming it can be to navigate these labels, and I don't want you to spend months taking something that does nothing for your cognitive health. My goal is to make your path to longevity as clear and effective as possible, without the guesswork. To save you the research and the frustration, I've linked the specific dual extract, lion's mane, I personally trust and recommend to my own patients in the description and the first pinned comment below. It is the exact fruiting body version we've been talking about, tested for purity and potency. If you want to start this journey today, that is exactly where I suggest you begin your search. Remember, your brain deserves the real thing. Once you have the right powder, the next step is ensuring it actually gets into your system and starts working. And for that, we need to talk about the synergy of your morning cup. Adding the powder is just the start. How you mix it and what you pair it with can double its effectiveness. Let's look at the ritual that changes everything. Now that you understand the science, let's talk about the application. You can have the most powerful brain-repairing powder in the world, but if you don't integrate it into your life correctly, you won't see the results you're looking for. The goal here is synergy, where 1 + 1 = 5. It all begins with the base of your ritual, the coffee itself. Most people don't realize that standard coffee can be a double-edged sword. If you are adding lion's mane to low-quality, mass-produced coffee that is laden with pesticides or mold toxins, you are essentially fighting an uphill battle. You're trying to repair your brain while simultaneously introducing inflammatory triggers. This is why I always recommend starting with organic, low-acidity coffee beans. It ensures your engine is running on the cleanest fuel possible. But remember, the fuel is only as good as the engine. If you want the cleanest experience possible, check out the organic, mold-free coffee beans I've listed in the resources below. Your brain will thank you for the upgrade. Once you have your clean brew, the next step is the dosage. For most adults, a half teaspoon, roughly 500 to 1,000 milligrams of high-quality lion's mane extract is the sweet spot. Now, here is a practical tip that will save your morning experience. These concentrated extracts are dense. If you just drop a spoonful into your mug and stir it with a regular spoon, you're going to end up with bitter, unappetizing clumps at the bottom. While you can use a spoon, these powders blend best when you use a small, high-speed handheld frother to get that smooth, creamy texture without any clumps. I've added a link to the specific high-speed frother I use every morning. It's a game changer for making your mushroom coffee feel like a professional latte rather than a health supplement. It emulsifies the powder, making the earthy, chocolatey notes of the lion's mane blend perfectly with the coffee's natural aroma. This creates a microfoam that carries the nutrients more effectively to your palate. To truly take this to the limitless level, there is one final ingredient you should consider: MCT oil. Coffee provides the spark. Lion's mane provides the repair kit, but MCT oil provides the stable energy. Your brain is about 60% fat, and it loves medium-chain triglycerides. When you mix MCT with your coffee, it slows down the absorption of caffeine, preventing that 2 p.m. caffeine crash or the heart palpitations. This combination creates what I call the cognitive shield. The caffeine wakes you up, the MCT oil sustains that energy, and the lion's mane goes to work on your neural pathways. You get a clean, calm focus that feels less like a jolt and more like a sharpening of your vision and thoughts. It's the difference between a lightning strike and a steady, bright sun. I've included my favorite pure MCT oil in the description as well. By combining these three elements: organic coffee, the right lion's mane, and a splash of MCT oil, you aren't just drinking a beverage. You are performing a biological upgrade. You are setting the tone for a day of clarity, productivity, and long-term protection against the cognitive decline that so many others simply accept as fate. Imagine starting every day knowing that you are actively building a more resilient mind. It takes less than 2 minutes to prepare, but the compounding benefits of this ritual over the coming months are truly life-changing. Now, let's talk about exactly what you can expect to feel as these compounds begin to transform your brain over the next 6 months. People often ask me, Dr. Sato, how soon will I feel the difference? It is a vital question because we live in a world that expects instant results. However, neuroregeneration is a marathon, not a sprint. The answer depends on your biological baseline, but neuroscience gives us a very clear map of the journey. Let's look at the timeline of your brain's transformation over the next 180 days. In the first 7 days, the changes are usually subtle. You might notice that the mid-afternoon fatigue isn't quite as heavy as it used to be, or that your mood feels slightly more stable. This is the initial anti-inflammatory effect taking hold, clearing the surface fog of your day-to-day life. You're not rebuilding the engine yet, but you are finally clearing out the exhaust that's been choking it. By the 30-day mark, the neurogenesis process, the birth of new neurons, is in full swing. This is where my patients report those aha moments. You'll find yourself recalling names more quickly, or walking into a room and actually remembering why you went there. Your mental RAM is beginning to expand as the nerve growth factor starts repairing those long-neglected pathways. It's no longer about a boost. It's about efficiency. But the real magic happens at the 6-month mark. After 180 days of consistent use, you aren't just improving function. You are changing structure. This is the point where the regeneration of the myelin sheath, that fatty insulation for your nerves, becomes significant. Your brain becomes more resilient to stress and aging. You are building what we call a cognitive reserve that will serve you for years to come. Imagine waking up 6 months from now with a mind that feels faster, clearer, and more resilient than it does today. Imagine the confidence of knowing that your memory is a tool you can rely on, not something you have to apologize for. This is the vision of the future we strive for at the Senior Wellness Center. It's not about turning back the clock to 20. It's about being the most vibrant version of yourself at any age. At the end of the day, this isn't just about mushrooms or coffee. It's about who you get to be for your family, your friends, and yourself. It's about having the mental energy to stay curious, to keep learning, and to remain an active participant in your own life story. Your brain is the most precious thing you own. Don't let it fade into the background when the tools to protect it are sitting right here in your kitchen. I have made it my mission to ensure that every senior has access to this kind of life-changing information. We are living in an era where cognitive decline does not have to be your destiny. By making small, science-backed changes to your daily habits, you can reclaim your focus and protect your legacy. Every cup of coffee is a chance to send a message to your cells that you are not giving up. Remember, all the resources we discussed today, from the specific dual extract lion's mane to the organic coffee and the tools to mix, them are listed in the first pinned comment and the description below. I've personally vetted these options so you can skip the confusion and go straight to the results. If you found this information valuable, please hit that subscribe button and join our community here at the Senior Wellness Center. If you're ready to take the next step in your health journey, I highly recommend watching our video on the 5 morning habits that are secretly draining your brain power. It's the perfect companion to what we've learned today. Click the video on your screen now to continue your education. I am Dr. Kenji Sato, wishing you a clear mind and a healthy life. I will see you in the next video.